Hi everyone, this is a Draftaholic's guide to Blue-White Approach. We're going to get you ready for Nationals 2017. We're here with Martin Devlin and he's going to tell you all about this deck. Martin, what does this deck do?
As you might have guessed, it primarily focuses around its namesake card, Approach of the Second Sun. So the primary game plan is to hit your land drops, 1 through to 7, cast Approach of the Second Sun, and then resolve it a second time to win the game. That's the key essence of the deck. In between that, you have many sweepers, such as Fumigate, trying to just control a lot of the aggro decks of the format. Then you have kind of cycling to dig through your deck as quickly as possible, especially once you've cast the first Approach of the Second Sun. And you also have kind of different spot removal, such as Cast Out and Blessed Alliance, which is fantastic, again, against the aggro decks of the format.
So what would you say is the strongest matchup? Where is this kind of strategy going to get you the most wins?
Definitely if you're thinking you're going to be playing against a lot of GB decks, so kind of just mid-range decks, you're heavily favoured game 1. Depending on what they bring in against the sideboard against you will dictate games 2 and 3, but you definitely are happy to see those decks across the table. You're also quite happy to see Teamer Energy and Zombies dependent on their draw.
Okay, so that's where you're going to win. Where are you going to lose? What's going to destroy this deck? What's going to get under you and beat you?
So what you're sad to see across from you is the ramp decks, such as the Ulamogs and also the Scarab God. So decks playing Champion of Wits, basically trying to reanimate those flyers into play and go very quickly under you and put a lot of pressure on you. They're definitely tough matchups. I would say also mono red can line up fairly poorly. Some decks run Authority of the Consoles 2 of as a main, just to kind of hedge that matchup. But from my experience, it's a 50-50 matchup, very draw dependent.
Okay, so you can really improve that matchup by bringing in some of these sideboard cards?
Absolutely. So moving to the sideboard, as you can probably see, we have the Regal Carousels, the Kitty Cats, Linvala, and Authority of the Console. So you can see that's 10 cards coming in out of the sideboard to really improve that mono red matchup. And then against some of the control decks, Sphinx of the Final Word, Summary Dismissal as well. And against zombies, Descend Upon the Sinful, and also the Reanimator, make sure the Scarab God never shows his face again.
Get rid of him for good?
Get rid of him for good.
And over here we've got the land mix you've chosen. There's a couple of utility lands here. What are they providing for you?
So I guess obviously the irrigated farmland's very handy later on in the game. We can cycle them away to again dig deeper into our deck and find answers. And the Bladder Cataracts are also very, very good, just refueling your hand later on in the game. And also digging through your deck as quickly as possible. I think if people are aware, this deck very much reminds me of blue-based kind of scape shift decks, where effectively you're kind of a control deck and you control the deck for a little bit of a time and then you're seeking to end it immediately as possible. It's not blue-red control where we're seeking to slowly go through with Torrential Gearhulks and kind of win a bit of a slower, grindier game.
So typically from the first cast of Approach, how many turns does it take you to rip through and get to that second cast?
I would say on average 2 or 3. I mean, obviously Glimmer of Genius is fantastic because you get through 4 straight away. And then going through Supreme Will, also being able to go through, again, the top 4 cards. So usually my advice to players is to not really worry too much about the first time you cast it. You don't care whether it gets countered, but it's the second one that you're really seeking to fight over.
And how much of the metagame do you think this will be making up in the main event at Nationals?
I think it's dependent on what other people are seeking to build. I think it will be a medium-sized portion of the field. It won't be one of the top-tier mono-red zombies, but you should definitely have a plan against this deck in your sideboard. So I would suggest cards like Lost Legacy, Doomfall to rip their hand apart, are cards that you're not really happy to see as a blue-white approach player.
All right, excellent. Thanks a lot, Marty. And if you like a bit of a control deck with a kind of a combo finish, this is probably the deck for you.